Well, welcome back to the second episode of this playthrough. Unfortunately, when I recorded the episode, all the audio that I was doing while playing it was lost. I forgot to turn the volume up from testing another recording before, and it must have just messed with something with the audio. Now, I think we're about 19 minutes in, or maybe 13 minutes in, I can't quite remember. I turned the volume back up, but you can't hear my voice after. So, I decided to go over the video again and record the audio as we went along. So you guys have some idea of what was going on while I was doing some of the tasks. Audio for the episode afterwards is good. So let's follow along and I'll try to add audio as we go. This is going to be different because now I'm watching, not playing, so the audio will be probably more smooth since I can focus completely on it. So we're starting off things again when we come back to the episode, and I didn't like the look of the jumpsuit, so I think I decide after we leave the house to change back into my Vault 111 jumpsuit. And I'm gonna start looting the house here and start going into these Grognak Barbarian comic and tell you guys about the comics you can find throughout the Commonwealth. I think I also mentioned in this episode that for those who didn't know, Fallout 4 takes place in Massachusetts, takes place near Boston, and they refer to the area as the Commonwealth. So when people say throughout the Commonwealth, that's what they mean. Now, I spend some time here looting and grabbing equipment. Bobby pins right there are used to unlock safes. Safes usually have either caps or ammunition, which is always good. This book is called the Special Book, Your Special, and it increases one of your stats by 1. I put it into Strength, so I could do a little bit extra melee damage and to unlock some more perks in that skill tree as I continue to level up. I'm gathering these lamps right now because they have copper in them, and copper is quite valuable for crafting. And I grabbed that toy car because it has a screw in it, and the screw is also used for crafting. Now, I think it's here that I decide to switch outfits and put on my sunglasses. I'm trying to remember how to use the buttons. For those of you who don't know, I'm playing this on a computer, but I'm not using a mouse and keyboard. I'm using a PS4 controller. But I'm also using a different app to record this that is not synced correctly to my PS4 controller. It's set up for an Xbox controller, which makes all the button prompts incorrect. So often you'll see me struggling with that. I decided to try to upgrade some of my firearms with the resources I've been gathering, but I determined that it's too expensive. It was taking too many resources from me that I did not want to use. So, eventually, after looking at a few options and realizing how expensive it is, I decide to opt out and not upgrade my firearm. Here's the list of all the expenses of resources, and it was too much for me at this time. So I opt out, and then I think I do some inventory management. And I think by this point I'm still looking around town, grabbing a few things. There's a few creatures still alive in town that I am trying to deal with. And of course, gathering up the meat and resources from them, because you can cook them, and when you cook them, you get the experience from them, and you also can use the food to replenish your health, which saves you from using what we just found in that first aid box, stim packs. Stim packs are kind of like your magic healing potion in this world, and they are used to replenish your health and heal limbs if they're damaged. In this game, your limbs can also be damaged, and you get debuffs. You suffer, basically. So if you cripple an arm, When you aim with a weapon, the weapon sways. When you cripple a leg, you can't run, and you have to start limping everywhere. And if your head is crippled, your vision becomes blurry. All sorts of awful things start happening. So Stimpaks can still heal that, but that doesn't happen as often as you would think. So I often save my Stimpaks to sell them, and will use other food items to replenish my health. And they sell for a pretty good price, and you kill a lot of creatures as you're going along, harvesting their meat along the way, and then you just cook it up and sell it. Here I'm warning you about traps. That's the tension trigger and the bomb itself. You can disarm them before opening, or before going through an area that is booby-trapped, or in this case, the safe is booby-trapped. And then you watch me struggle picking this lock. Down at the bottom of the screen, you can see my bobby pin count. And if you run out of bobby pins, you can no longer pick locks. So it's good to keep some on you. Lots of ammunition, fancy hairbrush. I think I was talking about this part where silver is valuable, and you can see in the component in the middle above the picture what that is made out of for crafting purposes. The silver is valuable. So I often grab any kind of silver or gold items just because they are more valuable than the others, and if you sell them at a trader, you usually get a small amount of caps out of them, but considering how much they weigh, it's worth it. Your character in this game does have a carry weight, and that carry weight will eventually be maxed out. Now, I keep wigging myself out here because I can't hear anything. But I have to remind myself that the game audio, I had the volume turned down so I could hear something else when I was doing a test, an audio test. So, try not to worry myself out. Big old rad roach right here. And go through the house and grab a few more items. Crafting in this game is powerful. You get firearms and you get armor as you play through the game, but they are base items. They don't have any modifications. So what the crafting allows you to do, like you saw with the gun up at the other house, is you can use the resources to make your firearm do more damage, give your firearm a magnified optic, give it a suppressor so it doesn't make sound when you fire it, give it larger magazines to hold more ammunition, make it fully automatic, make it semi-automatic. Crafting is powerful, and there are perks when you're leveling up to add better modifications to those weapons. But all of that's mute if you don't have what you need to craft them. So as I'm going through all of this, I'm picking up what items I remember being valuable for crafting. And right here, I'm transferring some items I don't need back into my inventory, back into my settlement inventory, to make sure that my carry weight is low. There on the bottom left, you can see I can carry up to 250 pounds, and I'm currently at 26. And that's because I'm not carrying everything I find. I keep transferring all the junk I find, all the excess weapons and food. That way I can keep that carry weight low and pick up more items as I'm exploring. This game has a lot of appeal like that because you can loot to your heart's content. You can craft firearms and modify armor and find all sorts of goodies to sell to traders for caps. Caps being money. And I don't remember if I covered it in this episode when the audio was off, but in this universe, cash is gone. You're in the post-apocalypse, but there was a company called Nuka-Cola that produced so many bottles of their product, Nuka-Cola, that people started using that as the income, or not the income, sorry, the salary, the money in this world. Beer bottles too, I think, but they always use art and it always appears as a Nuka-Cola bottle cap. A lot of drinking taking place. Now, in the Fallout universe, the timeline is very similar to ours. The bombs dropping in, I want to say 2077. Please correct me, those of you who know better than I. But the world after World War II, instead of going the direction of our worlds, went a different direction, using nuclear power to have unlimited energy, which led to a huge industrial boom, which led to resources disappearing and being over harvested, and then a war broke out. And in this world, we were at war with China. And China actually invades Alaska, and we have a huge war. That's where this character, Nate, fought. You see in the opening video in the first episode of this series. He is in Alaska with the army fighting the Chinese. Right here, I picked up a bag of fertilizer. This home with the safe and the bomb that you saw is the home of a drug dealer who was operating out of Sanctuary. And this chem bench is where they were building their drugs. That fertilizer I am now using with a little bit of plastic that I've gathered to make Jet. Jet is a drug, or a chem, which they call in this game, that slows down time for 10 seconds. And that's extremely valuable when you're in a firefight and being attacked by a bunch of creatures right up in your face, because then it allows you to create distance and to aim more slowly and have better shot placement. You'll see me saving a lot in this episode and the next couple of episodes. If I die, I come back to my previous save point, the last time I saved in the game. So I save often to save progress. So if I do die, I don't come back too far and lose valuable time to spend with you guys. And then I decide to go east over here, looking for a dog that I know is in the area. And there's also a radstag. Radstag is a mutated deer that has 2 heads. You can see it right there. And I'm trying to get up to this dog to fight it. Unfortunately, radstags are too strong by this point in the game to kill easily, so I avoid it at this point because I don't think I can feasibly kill it. Then I'm heading over to this kind of hidden spot. It's a bit metagamey of me. Metagaming meaning I've played the game before. I know where resources are. I know where enemies are. So I make decisions based off of what I already know from playing the game before. So that's what I mean by metagaming. But right over here is this box that I actually failed to do correctly here. I open it up, and I'm watching this hill because I know there's a raider encampment on the other side of this hill. And so I'm trying not to have them see me. But in my haste, I forgot to flip this switch to open up this little compartment here. And I have to go back down the hill. Now, you saw in brackets right there, danger, when I was crouching. When you're crouching in this game, it activates a mode called stealth. And there's a meter on the top of the screen that tells you if you've been seen or if people are looking for you. Now, I went down, flipped the circuit breaker, and that released the vacuum seal on this little compartment filled with caps. Some extra little money for early in the game. Stealth is powerful in this game because if you sneak and you shoot or attack anyone while you're in sneak mode and undetected, right? See how here it says caution? If you're in caution or if you're in hidden and you kill something, you get double the damage. And right now what I'm doing is I'm looking for a group of mole rats that is usually on this hill. And I was going to fight them and take the resources and get the experience for fighting them, but they didn't trigger. I didn't find them. And it's right about here I realized that I can't hear the mole rats either. And then I realized my mistake, and I think right here you'll see me stop moving for a second as I turn on my settings and crank my volume back up. But unfortunately, actually, let's go back right here, since I can. I think I just saw the mole rats down by that house. Yep, there they are. You can see a group of them down there by the home. They've gone down the hill, which I'm not used to them doing. Interesting. It's fun to see that. No, but here in just a second, I realize my folly. I realize that I've made a mistake. And you'll hear the volume turn on. So, now you can enjoy the volume, and by this point, I still don't know that you can't hear my voice. So, we continue on with no talking. So, that's why I've come back, and I am now talking over the original footage, so that you can all enjoy my commentary, and to give you context about the world. I was talking a great deal about the lore and some other important things as I go along to help you understand the world better. We're heading over to the gas station now, the Red Rocket truck stop, to meet a companion. You can see him there. He's a good little dog. And you'll notice as we go around the Commonwealth, the other people know him as well, and they call him Dog Meat. Which my wife thinks is an absolutely horrible, rude name.
Okay then.
But
let's stick together.
It's endearing to the community that plays the game. He's a good companion. Gonna loot some medication and some other crafting items from this location. At this location, there is an ambush waiting for us, which I'm aware of. But something else that's interesting about this location, before we get to the ambush and you see the fighting, the owners of this place had waste that they would dispose of in a cave underneath this hill of the building. And there's a terminal in this room right there that describes the hiding spot, so you can go down to that spot, which we will, and find some goodies in that cave. Here in this machine is a Nuka-Cola machine. You can see the bottle. Those caps are what they use for the currency. I'm just checking all these things for loot. Trying to find things that can be that. And you can see that he found an enemy. This is the ambush of mole rats. Not the ones we saw earlier. But definitely a big group to deal with. They often pop up behind you because they can burrow under the ground to attack you. Perfect. Got all of them. Gonna harvest up all the resources. The bones on these creatures are used for crafting. Later in the game you can mix the bones with acid and make oil. Eating up right here. To replenish some of my health points. You can see in the bottom left there, replenishing. And the leather from the creature's hide can be used to craft armor. There's a lot of armor in this game that requires leather to modify. Just triple checking the bodies here to make sure I didn't miss one. This early in the game, resources are quite valuable, so just trying to make sure I'm giving myself every little bit of help I can. Going through and grabbing a few more items. Every little bit helps. You definitely want to find as much adhesive, screws, springs, radioactive material. I think I said adhesive, because those are the big ones as you get further into the game. And I transferred all of them into this workbench. Now, later on in the next couple of episodes, I'm upgrading some armor. And I was running out of resources. Now, this workbench is separate from the one in Sanctuary. So I think I need to come back to this settlement, gather all these resources, and take them back to Sanctuary so I have access to them. Because I needed aluminum in the 3rd episode, and I needed circuitry in the 3rd episode to upgrade something I pick up in this episode, which I'm very excited for. Hopefully you guys are too, when we finally get to that point. dropping off excess weapons, things I don't think I'll need. Holding onto that pipe rifle that you saw there. So I have a secondary firearm that uses a different ammunition than my 10mm pistol. The pipe weapon shoots 38 ammunition, and the 10mm pistol shoots 10mm. This is the cave I was telling you about, just down the hill, where they were disposing of all their waste products. The reason I want to go in here is there is a fusion core. Fusion cores are used for powering power armor in this game, and I love playing this game with power armor. Much more superior than your standard raider armor, leather armor, even the advanced armor you can get later on that's called combat armor. I also feel very cool in it. Now, it's right here. I know there's a group of creatures, so I go into my inventory and select a Molotov cocktail and use that to my advantage. And you can see those creatures die from the burning. And you can see my sneak meter still in hidden, so nothing's detected me. There's bones and some loot here that I pick up. The bones, again, to make oil later in the game with the crafting system. I don't collect this brain fungus because I've never really needed it for what I usually craft. So I've avoided it in this. Grab the ammunition. Always grab the ammunition. In this game, for whatever reason the creators chose, ammo doesn't weigh anything in the standard version of the game. There is a version, though, called Survival, where ammunition weighs more and you have to eat and drink to stay alive, or otherwise you slowly perish. You have to sleep. You can get diseases that must be cured. A much more difficult version of the game if you've never played it before. Here's the fusion core that we want. Those red symbols you see there, that is me taking radiation from that generator that is down here. That permanently removes health points from your HP bar. Here's a creature, kind of a mini boss for this area, much stronger than the others. And you can resist radiation damage by taking drugs, one called Radex, and you can remove the radiation damage by taking a drug called Radaway. I break into this safe real quick here, get some ammunition and whatever else is inside of it.
Nice.
That pipe revolver is pretty good. Takes 45 ammunition, which packs a wallop. Putting on some armor here. Armor, as early as we are here, I think we're level 3 by this point. We're not very strong. We don't have a lot of damage resistance to bullets and firearms and laser weapons, which we've not encountered yet. But you want to put on whatever armor you can, otherwise you will not last long. In a gunfight, I should clarify. It's right about here. I decide to start heading into Concord, but I decide to drop off some supplies in the workbenches before I go because my carry weight's getting up there. I'm at 100 pounds. So I decide to drop off some pistols and other items. Deciding which one I want to take with me. And I opt for the pipe rifle because I have more ammunition for it. And the pipe revolver only holds 6 shots, whereas the pipe rifle holds 12. Even though it's doing less damage, it's more useful for me in a fight, since I'm a bit of a trigger spammer. And I hold on to that 44 revolver because it does so much damage for early in the game that if I want to ambush anyone, I have a very powerful weapon to do so. Because if you remember, if I'm sneaking and undetected, it does double the damage. So it's almost a one-shot kill when you're fighting weaker enemies. dropping off resources. I think I didn't want to drop off all of them like I usually do with that quick select button, because I wanted to hang on to the gold bar and cigarettes, because I'm going to trade them later on with a trader that is in the area, or a merchant. Get ourselves some caps. As you can see there, we only have 103 caps. Not very many if we want to be buying better weapons and armor and possibly maybe supplies, chems, and the like. Cooking all this up so I have something to eat to replenish my health and possibly sell later on. You'll see that some of the food has additional benefits to it. The bloatfly meat giving you 20 radiation resistance. The other food giving you other benefits that increase your special stats, or maybe gives you damage resistance, or helps you do more melee damage. You can see there the raider armor is just a bunch of welded plates put together. Not especially effective, but this is the wasteland. We're going to be getting shot at. Any kind of armor is appreciated. Now here, I'm telling you guys about these awful little critters called, oh geez, what are they called? I guess I'll see in a second. I'm blanking on it so hard. Blood bugs. Giant mosquitoes. And I was expressing frustration because in this first fight, they always run away. It's extremely frustrating. Because the next time you come back, you have to fight them. Very frustrating. Especially if you're forgetful. Now, in this house is one of my favorite melee weapons. Kind of tucked here behind the door. Baseball bat. We do switch out our police baton for this weapon. It does more damage, but it just swings a little slower than the police baton. A little cap stash in the oven, and a Nuka-Cola Quantum. Nuka-Cola Quantums are the premier premium drink of Nuka-Cola Company in this world, and it glows blue. No one knows why in the game, but we as the player can find out later on that they've actually been adding a radioactive element to it that makes it glow, which they of course advertise as being completely safe.
Hey.
And it's got the equivalent to a pot of coffee worths of caffeine in it. Quite ridiculous. Now I am grabbing a hard hat that my dog picked up for me. He can pick up random items as you go along, but I picked up a red bandana and some welding goggles for him, which he can actually wear. You have to go into his inventory and equip them, and you can see right here it makes his eyes much larger. It has no purpose, mind you. It doesn't make him stronger, protect him better, but it looks fun. Here's Concord. Now, Concord, right about here, you can start to hear some gunshots. There is a conflict taking place. I go into this building here because I know there's some ammunition upstairs. You can see them fighting right there with someone on the balcony of that building. We are going to go over there and help them. And it's right about here I realize I have a level up, or I remember that I had a level up, so I choose a perk called Scrounger over in the luck tree. As you can see there, it allows me to find more ammunition in any container. Now, fusion cores in this game can be used for another weapon called a Gatling laser. That is a type of ammunition for that weapon. So, I have a chance of finding more fusion cores in any random container, which means that I have more fusion cores for power armor when I find it. As long as I have fusion cores, my power armor keeps working. So here I am trying to sneak up on these individuals. I'm checking around the street, watching, and then right there I see one hiding. Take him out. 2 times sneak attack damage. These other fellows start approaching me, and I can't quite seem to get a bead on them. I attempt throwing a grenade, but I throw it too short, and I take cover behind this post here. And I'm trying to hit headshots here. Headshots doing more damage. Trying to utilize my cover. That's 2 down, and the third one comes over and gets behind the bags. Ah, right there I missed. So I decide to pull out my baseball bat, but dog meat takes care of it before I can get there. Another little cap stash here in the middle of the alley. And right here you would assume I'd run straight over to the building and ask who the person was on the balcony, but I decide to grab all these items and raid the raiders. Grabbing ammunition from the weapons they're carrying. You have to take the weapons out of their inventory. You have to loot them off them because the weapons still have ammunition in them. So when you grab the weapon, it removes the ammunition from them and puts it into your inventory. And then I just drop the weapons later. Yes.
The raiders are almost through the door. Grab that laser musket and help us, please.
Preston Garvey. A good soul. Here's a weapon he wants us to use called a laser musket. This is the first energy weapon we get in this game. Pretty nifty. I'm going to pull it out here in a second and show you. This is a Minuteman, and for those of you who know your history with the Revolutionary War, the Minutemen were what we called militiamen back in the day because they could be ready at a minute's notice. They have created a similar organization here in the Commonwealth where they try to help out innocent settlers and the like as best they can. Preston, unfortunately, finds himself in dire straits as raiders have hunted him and a few other survivors down to this Museum of Freedom. Equipping some more armor as we're about to go in for a fight. A little bit of inventory management, dropping weapons I no longer need now that I've pulled the ammunition out of them. Holding onto that pipe auto pistol, auto meaning fully automatic. Comes in handy in a tight place. Yeah, here's the laser musket. I'll show you how it works. Apply the crank, it charges the receiver with energy, and you can crank it again to do double the damage. As you get more perks later on and level up through the game, you can get that receiver to do up to 6 times damage. And sneaking into the museum here, see if we can get the drop on these raiders. Line up the shot. And dive for cover. He's just alive, so I think I pull out my pistol to finish him off. Don't want to waste that valuable energy ammunition. Clearing my corners. Trying not to get ambushed. Moving my way through the museum. My first shotgun. These come in handy for tight places as well. Putting on that chest piece as it offers more armor for me. Doing some good old looting on our way up. And right here I'm trying to show you how to hack. Now, what you do is you select a word, and then using deduction, you guess which letters are in the correct word for the password. Me though, I'm quite lazy. I'll choose the first 3 words and then exit out of the terminal before I get locked out. And I'll keep trying it, the first top words, until it works. And you'll see here, it pretty tried and true system.
Nice.
And the gate's already unlocked, so terminal has no effect. Oh, got stuck. I think I just jumped over it. Yep, looting as we go up. That's the Scrounger perk working there. You can see I found some random ammunition in that toolbox. Usually you wouldn't, but that perk from leveling up is what made that possible. The green light you see is from my Pip-Boy still. Right here, I think I turn it off and start sneaking in.
Just get the hell out of here. We got no reason to hang around and get shot. Someone there?
Oh, they spotted me. Trying to shoot this thing. Hopefully they run towards me, but I don't think they do. They're distracted, attacking my dog. Grab some ammunition off of them. And I think I choose to take the leather chest piece because it's lighter than the Raider chest piece, as far as armor goes. The Raider, I think, has better armor, but I like having the lighter armor so I can keep my carry weight down.
I'm coming in there, and I'm gonna skin every last one of you. Come on, man. They ain't going nowhere. We got other shit to deal with. You hear that? I gotta go take a little walk. I'll be back.
Gotta grab a drink before I fight, you know. Here they come. You can see them through the wall, and I opt to pull out my shotgun that I remember getting. Ambush these poor men.
Hearing shit.
You can see his red marker on the map, indicating where he is. Fortunately, I missed, but I got him on the second one. Now, I don't go straight to talk to Preston. I loot the immediate area, trying to pick up some goodies along the way. The Scrounger perk allows me to find ammunition in any container, so obviously the more containers I search, the more ammunition I find. There's also some hidden goodies in this room. I think there's a cap stash right here by these cabinets. Yep, right there. And let's go talk to Preston, find out what's going on and how we can help. Oh, I think we're gonna drop some weapons off in this bag though, so I'm not just dropping them on the ground. Just some inventory management while I'm thinking about it. We haven't been over-encumbered yet, but if it does happen, we can't run. We have to walk very slowly, and that's no good when you're being shot at. Either run to cover or run towards them with a baseball bat. Alright, let's see what these individuals have to say after I put on my armor. Let's put our weapon away and turn off our flashlight so we're not blinding him.
Man, I don't know who you are, but your timing's impeccable.
He's holding a laser musket as well, a modified one, with a longer barrel and a scope.
Glad to help.
Well, if that's true,
I look
we
so
need some more
silly.
goodwill. As you can see, we're in a bit of a mess here.
Maybe. Please, go on.
A month ago, there were 20 of us. Yesterday, there were 8. Now we're 5. First, it was the ghouls in Lexington, and now this mess.
Ghouls, just so you know, are irradiated zombies.
Sounds rough.
Or irradiated humans who have
Well, to me, someone who
developed
really cares.
some sort of immunity to radiation.
Anyway,
Now their
we
body
figured
is just
Concord would be a
this
safe place to settle.
horrible
Those raiders
husk
proved us wrong. Nope. But
that slowly regenerates itself
we
with
do have one
radiation.
idea.
What's your idea?
Will
I
it
must be
enough
telling you guys
to
something.
Stop those
There you go.
maniacs?
Sturgis, tell him.
There's a crashed vertibird up on the roof. Old school, pre-war. You might have seen it. Well, looks like one of its passengers left behind a seriously sweet goodie. We're talking a full suit of cherry T-45 power armor. Military issue.
Nice. Finally get our power armor.
That's some
Now
serious
remember, Nate
protection.
is
Oh, it gets
military, so he's probably familiar with
suit.
how it works
You
and
can grip the
functions,
minigun right
which
off
also
the
explains why
vertebra.
he knows how to use
Do
so many
that,
different types
and
of
those
firearms.
raiders get an express ticket to hell. You dig?
I dig.
Minigun. Now we're talking.
I know, right? Only there's one hitch. The suit's out of juice. Probably been dry for 100 years. It can be powered up again. But we're a bit stuck.
I'll gladly help.
I'll help if I can.
What you'll need is an old pre-war FC, a standardized fusion core.
Which
Your
we picked up in the
high-grade,
basement because I
long-term
knew we would need
nuclear
it.
battery used by the military
And
some
luckily we
companies
have a
don't
second one that we picked up
We know right
from
where
the
to find
cave
But
underneath
we
the Red
can't get
Rocket
to the
truck
damn
station.
thing. It's down in the basement, locked behind a security gate. Look,
Actually, I already
I
grabbed
already
the
have
fusion
it.
core. We're set.
Unique
Well, all right.
dialogue for already
Maybe
having
our
it
luck's
done.
finally turning around. Once you jack the core into the power armor and grab that minigun, those raiders will know they picked the wrong fight. Good luck.
Thank you. Now we need to pick up this comic book, which just allows you to play a game on your Pip-Boy. Not too interested in it. We need to go talk to this older lady who knows dog meat. Like I said, he's gotten around the Commonwealth. People
Ma'am.
know him.
Dog meat sure did find us some help. Just look at ya.
He's a good dog. Smart.
Yeah,
too.
he is.
Oh, indeed. Dog meat's good at finding folks who need him, and he'll stick by you now. I saw it.
She saw it.
You saw it?
It's the chems, kid. They give old Mama Murphy the sight.
Basically, she takes
Been
drugs
that way
and she
for
can
as
see the
long
future.
as I can remember.
Spoilers.
That's incredible.
She has health
Say a
problems
bit
because
what
of it.
Was and what will be.
And you can continue to give her
What is.
more drugs. And she can
now.
tell you about the future.
And right now, I can see there's something coming. Drawn by the noise and the chaos. And it is angry.
And now, that orange option is a speech check. If I have high charisma, I have a better chance of passing it. So we're going to attempt. Eventually. Maybe. Come on now. Nope, still not doing it. Geez, I must have been explaining it for
What
a
is it?
second.
Mama Murphy, I need more, please.
I'm sorry, kid. But
We
I just
failed
don't
the
know.
check, it looks like. I think I
The
didn't remember
sight
that.
ain't always clear, but believe me when I tell you, it ain't a raider.
So something's coming. Something nasty.
But
Which
I'm
you'll see in the third
tired
episode.
now. And if I ain't mistaken, you've got a job to do.
Well, I'll be on my way. I decide not to talk to the rest of these individuals. They're all in a very stressful situation, and I've got raiders to fight. So, just do some quick looting. Grab this clipboard because it has a valuable spring inside of it, which is used for crafting. And grab this bobblehead, which gives me a +1 to my perception tree. Very good. These are a married couple. June and Marcy, I believe. And it's right about here I wrap up the episode, but let's see what we found. honestly, some people think that this is overpowered because you get it so early on, but this power armor is very high maintenance. The pieces all have a health bar that can break individually. It provides a great deal of damage resistance and energy resistance, and of course the entire suit itself protects you from radiation as it is sealed. And you take no falling damage when you jump off of any building. It has a built-in suspension system into the legs that go throughout the entire body of it. Gonna load it up with a fusion core here to make sure it's functional, and hop on in, I think. Ah, yes. Now I don't need any of that silly armor on if I'm in this baby. I love power armor. And this is T45. This is the... not the lowest tier, but it's definitely a basic tier. We can find better and different models throughout the Commonwealth as we start to explore. Now here I'm just dropping off a few things. We have a big fight waiting for us in episode 3. So stick around. Go ahead and watch that if you'd like. I think you'll enjoy the angry thing that's coming. It's a bit of a fun fight. And right there, at the top of the vertibird, is our minigun waiting for us. And I'm holding off grabbing it for the next episode, but we get spotted by the raiders. Preston opens up on him with his laser musket. But we call it there. So hopefully you all enjoyed that. Thank you so much for stopping by and enduring my voiceover of the episode. Next time I'll just have to pay better attention to make sure my audio's lined up straight. Again, thank you so much, and I'll see you guys in the next one.